Back in 1981, a rather unexpected band from Leeds hit #1 with their cool electronic cover of an old and little-known soul track from the 60s. With Tainted Love, Soft Cell defined what would become the classic 80s synth-pop duo, a bold theatrical singer paired with a quiet, technical genius behind the keyboards. Dave Ball, who has passed away at the age of 66, was that creative force, building dark, layered soundscapes that perfectly matched Marc Almond's lyrics about seedy cinema and taboo desire. Tainted Love went on to sell more than 21 million copies worldwide, followed by other hits like Say Hello, Wave Goodbye and Torch, before the pair split up in 1984. They reunited in the 2000s and had just finished a new album a few days before Ball's death. His family said he died peacefully in his sleep at home in London on Wednesday, the 22nd of October. The news came less than 2 months after Soft Cell performed for 20,000 fans at the Rewind Festival in Henley-on-Thames. During that show, Ball appeared in a wheelchair, something he had relied on for the past 2 years after a series of serious health problems. He once joked to the Yorkshire Post in 2023 that he had managed to damage himself quite a bit, explaining that he fractured vertebrae in his spine, broke several ribs, and injured his wrist. After developing pneumonia and sepsis, he was placed in an induced coma and spent 7 months in hospital. Despite everything, he had been in good spirits over the summer, working on Soft Cell's new album, Dance-Teria, which is set to come out next year. Marc Almond said in tribute that Ball had been completely focused and thrilled about finishing the album, calling it heartbreaking that he passed away, just as 2026 was shaping up to be such a positive year for him. Almond took comfort in knowing that Ball got to hear and be proud of their final work together. He thanked him for being such an important part of his life and said he would not be where he is today without him. Ball was also known for being half of the techno duo The Grid, who scored a top 10 hit in 1994 with Swamp Thing, a track driven by an unexpected banjo riff. His partner from that time, Richard Norris, remembered him fondly for his infectious laugh and loyal friendship, saying that being in a duo creates a unique and close bond. He described their time together as full of extraordinary and life-affirming experiences, ending his tribute with, "Thank you, Dave." Dave Ball was born in Chester in 1959 and adopted at 18 months old by Donald and Brenda Ball in Blackpool, who renamed him David. He grew up with his adoptive sister Susan, who was also adopted. While studying art at Leeds Polytechnic in 1977, he met Marc Almond, and the two quickly bonded over their shared love of Northern Soul. That same year, they formed Soft Cell and soon recorded an EP that got early support from Radio 1 DJ John Peel. They were an unlikely pairing. Ball, quiet and focused behind his keyboard, and Almond, the glamorous theatrical frontman covered in glitter and makeup. Together, they found a chemistry that worked. Ball had become fascinated by synthesizers after seeing Kraftwerk perform on the BBC science show Tomorrow's World, and he began blending dark, experimental sounds with the emotional melodies Almond was writing. Tainted Love became the second biggest selling single of 1981 in the UK and helped define the 80s synth pop sound, alongside artists like Gary Newman, Human League and Ultravox. The song appeared on their debut album Non-Stop Erotic Cabaret, which also produced hits like Bedsitter and Say Hello, Wave Goodbye. Their follow-up single Torch reached #2 in 1982. Success brought excitement and challenges. Ball later said he loved being able to buy his first home, have money and travel, joking that it made him sound like a Miss World contestant. But fame also came with temptations. He admitted that with new wealth came access to drugs, which they used to escape the dull routine of endless interviews and television appearances. The pair eventually began to drift apart, but still managed to release another strong record. The Art of Falling Apart, followed by This Last Night in Sodom in 1984, after which they went their separate ways. Almond went on to a successful solo career with songs like Something's Got a Hold of My Heart, while Ball formed the Grid, blending acid house and ambient pop. Soft Cell reunited in 2001 with the album Cruelty Without Beauty. After another long break, they came back in 2018 with new singles Northern Lights and Guilty, 'Cause I Say You Are, performing what was meant to be their farewell show at the O2 Arena that September. But they kept going, recording their fifth album, Happiness Not Included, during the COVID lockdown in 2020. Ball said their later music was inspired by the New York club scene they loved in their early days, and he admitted that his long hospital stay had shaped their new sound. He described the songs as a digital reflection of the strange, dreamlike sounds he remembered from being on morphine, while also capturing the wild spirit of their adventures in the 80s. The final mixes were finished just days before his passing, and the album is set for release in the spring of 2026. Dave Ball's life was a mix of quiet brilliance and bold creativity, a man who preferred to let the music speak for him. Through every note he played, he gave a voice to emotion that words alone could never capture. His sounds defined an era and touched millions, yet he remained humble and kind, always focused on creating something that felt true. Even in his final months, he was still dreaming, still composing, still chasing the perfect melody. His legacy will live on not just in the songs that made us dance and cry, but in the inspiration he gave to anyone who believes that music can change a life. Farewell, Dave, and thank you for the love, the sound, and the soul you left behind.